cases, I was slumped on what I should talk about next. But after weeks of thinking, I decided I was going to pick Telltale's The Walking Dead. Now, I am familiar with the Telltale games. Minecraft Story Mode was my jam back in the day, and I remember replaying the Batman one's first episode. But anyways, if you guys want to hear about those games or any other games, let me know in the comments. And after this video, I'm going to be doing community polls to see what you guys want to see next, and whichever game or topic gets the highest votes is the one I'm going to be talking about. Now, back to The Walking Dead. This is going to be my first time playing this. I'm writing this part past tense before I even start the game, so I don't know anything about this. And after I got it, I'm getting right into it. And after I finish recording this, I'm starting it. So let's get right into the video. Alright, so this game starts off crazy with a black man in the back of a police car. Telltale, we're already starting off slippery. I'm not feeling this, brother. This is false representation. But this is Lee. He got arrested for unaliving a dude that his wife was doing the devil's tango with. Nothing too crazy, nothing too crazy. Some light, some light. And the police officer who is driving us to jail keeps asking us about the crime. And I'm not kidding when I say this. For the next 2 minutes of this section, he goes on a yap fest. But this yap ends when we run over a zombie. The way they're moving in this V, you would think this was a Destroy Lonely concert. But Lee wakes up in the car after being knocked out, thankful to be in said car, unlike our arresting officer who was flayed out outside like it was a Mike Tyson knockout. But we're gonna need those keys off his body if we're gonna get out these handcuffs. So as I'm walking to the officer, I see the shotgun and I want it. I really want that shotgun. But this goofball Lee says, it'll be easier to carry with these handcuffs off. I immediately know what situation I'm getting myself into now that I do not have a weapon, my brother. Now I go to this officer to get the keys and this goofball Lee drops them. You guys are gonna see later, if this was 2K, Lee would have clumsy on Hall of Fame. So we get the handcuffs off and the officer turns into a zombie, and now he wants to get the shotgun. Now he decides it's a good time to have a weapon. But then he drops the Hall of Fame as he's loading the shotgun. Clumsy on Hall of Fame, I tell you. But he picks up the shell and we blow the officer's head off. So now, after that nonsense, we're getting swarmed by a bunch of zombies, and once again, Lee, being the goofball that he is, he trips over. Hall of Fame clumsy. I'm gonna keep repeating this until he stops this nonsense. But then we see a fence to this random house. We don't know who is in here. They could be huge fans of the Second Amendment. Lee, what are you doing? But thank the Lord above that these zombies are stupid and that a wooden fence is enough to keep them at bay. So then we go into said stranger's house from earlier and Lee tells them not to shoot and that he's not an intruder. Brother, that is exactly what you are right now. You are breaking into their home. But I'm gonna need y'all to peep game and lock in real quick because this is when bro started to actually get me heated. As we walk in the crib, I notice a big red pool of blood on the floor. I examine it because I know with this man Lee's track record of being a goofball, he already has 3 notches on his belt, and I know any type of liquid is probably a huge hazard to bro's knees. I acknowledged it and he still tripped over. Like, why?
What? No, dude!
Why do you fall? You may be the main character, but failure is what you're showing me. When we head in the kitchen, I immediately go to grab that cup of water. I don't even care if it's filled with spit. I need something to drink after all that running I've been doing. Anyways, we answer the answering machine. We get some lore. We hear about this girl's parents. Then we hear said girl calling for her father. We grab a walkie-talkie in a drawer and talk to said little girl. We asked her some trivial questions like, oh, where are your parents? How old are you? And then a zombie pops out right behind us. And then, trying to get away, he slips on the same pool of blood he slipped on earlier. Goofball Lee. But we take out the zombie and we meet the little girl face to face. Her name is Clementine, and I would do horrid things to guarantee her safety in this game. she's waiting for her parents to come home, but I don't think they are. I think they got eaten up, brother. But we're gonna take care of her until then because we're such a good guy. So she asked us, what do we do now? And I chose to look for help because who's gonna stay out here when it's dark? We gotta leave pronto. We immediately see these two dudes, Sean and Chet, trying to push a car out of the way so they can get to their farm. We talk, introduce ourselves, but he slips up by calling Clementine my daughter. So I correct him by saying I'm just some guy, because what am I lying for? It is the zombie apocalypse. We have way better things to worry about, like, I don't know, not getting eaten. So some zombies are coming and we push the car out of the way so we can drive off to the farm he was talking about earlier. So once we go to the farm, we're at the farm, right? And Chet says he's going home to see his mom. He said he would be back the next day, but we never see him again. I think his mom turned into a zombie and he got ate up, brother. It's looking bad for him. And then we see Sean's dad, Herschel, and bro looks like if old man Logan was a blue collar worker. But once again, somebody thinks that Clementine is my daughter. So Sean corrects him saying, oh no, he's just some guy that picked her up, man. And this is something that gets me really aggravated throughout this episode. Everybody has questions to my parental ability. Like, I'm trying to keep her safe. I'm doing a good job. I've done all right so far. Just leave me alone and do me a favor and shut your trap. But he offers to look at Lee's leg and he helps out with it. So we talk for a little while and Sean tells his pops that we need to do something about that gate so them zombies, them zomboys can't get in. But Herschel, he's like, nah, we gonna be alright. That's gonna be kind of important later for something that's gonna happen. But then we learn there's some other people here and we're gonna help fix the gate tomorrow. So we go into the farm. Me and Clementine have a conversation about her missing parents, blah, blah, blah. Lee has a nightmare, blah, 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 and we go to sleep. But then we wake up to this man standing over us, telling us we need to get up. He better not interrupt my sleep before I really do it to him. But then he decides to frighten Clementine by making her think she has spiders in her hair. You're 0 for 2 right now, my brother. You are not in good standing with us currently. And once again, I have to clarify that I'm not her father. I'm just gonna start saying I am if I get the option because I'm tired of it. But his name's Kenny, and then we see his son Duck, who is off the yerk all the time. He never sits down. He never is still. But Sean told him he can drive the tractor, so he's pretty excited for that. And Kenny just lays into him, calling his son dumb as a bag of hammers. Like, sheesh, bro, is this not your child? Then we see Kenny's wife, Katja, and then he starts talking about us being on the way to Macon. And he asks us to come with him. And we say, sure, why not? Because the more the merrier, and the more people we have, the more likely we are to survive. But then Sean pulls up to the scene and says we need to get it cracking on that fence ASAP. No Ferg. So he takes Duck to help out, but Katja is keeping an eye on Clementine while me and Kenny go to work. We have a mini convo with them, but I'm not focused on that. I want to talk about the nonsense Kenny says to me when I go to talk to him. So I walk up to him asking if he needs help with the truck, right? And he asks, do I know what I'm doing in taking care of Clementine? This is the problem I have. Everybody who don't have any confidence in me taking care of her could not be doing what I'm doing. And yes, of course I'm going to take care of her if her parents don't show up, which they aren't. They're probably out of here. So after that nonsense he says to me, we walk over to Sean to help with this fence. After we offer to help, he just starts complaining like, oh, the apocalypse is so bad. My dad just doesn't understand. Like, who cares? Speaking of his dad, Sean advises us to go help him. And I want you guys to take a look at this real quick, right? That barn is all the way over there, right? It seems like a pretty long walk. So how did Lee manage to turn right and teleport right to the barn? Make it make sense, Telltale. Every other way we go, we have to go on a long walk. Lee just is Nightcrawler now? Make it make sense, Telltale. So we walk into the farm to talk to Herschel, and he has more questions about how I met Clementine and how I came across her. This is the second time today anybody has questioned my parenting abilities. So at this point, I didn't even care. I answer directly with the rude option, asking him what is he trying to get at. Then he goes on this tangent about honesty and trusting strangers. It's just a bunch of baloney. After all his yap, we hear a commotion and the fence collapsed, just like Sean said, and zombies are grabbing him and Duck. Now, obviously, I choose to save the little boy first because it's a child. I was gonna save Sean first, but like, nah, it's a little boy. I can't do that. So Kenny runs in with the save, helping us save Duck, and we expect him to help us save Sean, but no, he runs away like there's no danger for Duck anymore. Like come on, you could help out. But then unfortunately Sean gets bitten up and he is now dead. Herschel walks in, shoots the two zombies, and tells us like, nah, y'all gotta go. And then he starts blaming me. Like, what about the defenseless child over there? Your son was a grown man fighting against zombies who move at 0.1 miles per second, and he still managed to get jumped. What about personal responsibility here, Herschel? So we're driving, and then we see this town, and we go into it, and we walk around, and Kenny decides to be a goofball and scream out like, hey, are you there to help us? And then there's a bunch of zombies. Now we're getting surrounded by zombies, and Duck almost gets hopped. And then this lady and this man come out with the save and bring us into the pharmacy. That's when we meet this new group: Carly, Glenn, Lily, Doug, and Larry. Now there's an argument going on between Carly and Lily based on whether or not they should have saved us, and I can understand both sides really. From Carly's side, we're not just gonna let innocent people die, but on Lily's side, we don't know if these people are like bad, if they could try to hurt us, to try to rob us. Everyone is arguing, and old dude Larry sees Duck has a little bit of blood on him and starts shizzing out. He starts tweaking, talking about we need to kill him because we could be bitten, he could turn into a zombie. Now everybody's trying to get him to calm down, but he says, nah, we gotta end that little boy. And Kenny asks me, what should we do about him? And I said, if he tries Lil Duck, we gonna end him, we gotta do it to him. And he just starts shizzing out, telling everyone to shut up, and I tell Larry he better sit down or else. And then Lee says the smartest thing and exactly what I was thinking during this situation. It is a little boy. We can deal with it if anything. There are 8 grown adults. I think we can handle a 8-year-old zombie, but Larry's not hearing it and he still wants to kill him. I tell Kenny do what he has to and to knock old dude out, but Larry turns into prime Terrence Crawford and tanks the punch, then knocks Kenny clean out. And after all this commotion, we see Clementine at the bathroom with a zombie trying to get her. Surely Lee is going to be a hero and save the day with no hiccups. What did he even trip on, bro? But thankfully, we stopped the zombie thanks to Carly's help shooting it, and everybody's geeking out because it looks like some zombies are about to get inside due to the noise of the gunshot, but they chill out eventually. And Larry just decides to start geeking again. He's mad because Carly shot the zombie and he's about to have a heart attack. I really hope he drops dead right here. I was praying, but he unfortunately does not. And we need to unfortunately get him pills so he can unfortunately live. But then we see Kenny taking the leadership role. So we walk into the room trying to get to the pharmacy, and we see a picture of Lee and his parents, and he rips up the photo. So Carly walks in and says she knows who Lee is and what he did. Then she asks me, did I tell anybody? And it is the zombie apocalypse. Who is going to care? So after we realize we need the keys to get into the pharmacy, Glenn makes a call. I forgot to mention earlier that he went out to go get some supplies and he took Clementine's walkie-talkie that if anything, he can contact us. So he needs some help. So me and Carly hit the road and we try to give him some assistance. So after a couple of cutscenes, we get to him and everyone's like, we need to go now. But this goofball Glenn sees a potential sneaky link in there and he wants to go save her. But I'm telling you guys right now, this section is as boring as vacuuming. So thankfully for you guys, me being the good Samaritan that I am, we're going to skip this. After all that work and all that zombie slaying, we open the door and she is chopped. There's more chopped than cheese. This is what you were trying to save, Glenn. This is what you were going so hard for. She opens the door and she is mid. And not only is she mid, she's already bitten. But goofball Glenn himself is more concerned with the fact that she has a boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend? Glenn.
But after a couple minutes of yap, she sees Carly has the strap in her hand and she asked her to give it to her so that she can unalive herself. But Carly and Glenn are like, no, we can't let you do that. I say give her the gun so she can finish the business. So she finishes herself, I get the gun, and we head back to the pharmacy. Now, I go to Doug. I didn't really even talk about Doug because he's lame. But we go outside so that we can try to get the keys to the pharmacy so we can unfortunately help Larry. We have to help him to go on with the game. But we see Lee's brother with the keys and unfortunately we have to off him. It's really sad. Like, he has remorse for his past and what his past done to his family. He wish he could have had more time with them, but ain't none of that. We need them keys. So we get the keys and we get the pills for Larry, and opening the door sets off the alarm, which rings a bunch of zombies. And now we have to escape the pharmacy. So we're trying to keep the door closed until Kenny can get that truck and get us out of here. And now, after all this nonsense, all this zombie nonsense, it's time for the big choice of this section. Either save Doug or save Carly. Now, I immediately saved Carly because I could have saved Doug, but like, why would I? Carly is a cool character and Doug is not. So RIP Doug. Now it's time to dip. But Clementine nearly gets done bad by another zombie again. So I have to save her again because that's my child. I'm not gonna let anything happen to her. So we're all running outside so we can get to the truck. And I want you guys to watch closely to what Larry does to me.
You son of a bitch! Oh! I'm not letting somebody else get eaten today. Especially a good friend.
You saw that correctly. Larry nearly knocked me out, allowing me to get killed because I wouldn't let him kill a child. I am telling you guys right now, if there are any choices that go against his life in the future, I am making them. I don't even care if it's something small like farting on his pillow. His life is about to be a living hell. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now? So Kenny, being the W-mans that he is, comes in with the ultimate save like it's Rocket League and gets us out of there. So the group decides to camp out at the motel for a little while and Glenn parts ways from the group. Now he can drive off and save all the mid that he wants to. So we just go talk to everyone about life. After we finish talking to Clementine, Larry calls us over and I can't wait to have a conversation with him. I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind. But he asks us, do we like Lily? I said she's fine. And then he just starts ranting on us like, this is the second person to come to me saying like, oh, I know who you are and I know your past. Like I care. Like I care. But he says he's gonna make sure if I do anything wrong that the group is gonna kick me out. Like, okay, you're old, they're not gonna listen to you. But he also tells us to watch our back if something happens to Lily or Clementine and to stay away from Lily. So I go to talk to Lily right after that because Larry told me not to, because who cares what he thinks. She gives us thanks because we saved her dad. I'm like, I really wish I didn't. And then Kenny and Lily decide to jinx us by saying, oh, I think it's gonna be all right over here. But no, because the lights go off and now the episode ends in complete darkness. I can't wait to play episode 2. This episode was really, really good. Unless it was that first motel section. That's the only part I can say that was like truly bad. I'm probably going to start episode 2 right after I finish recording this. So if you guys want to see any games or anything you guys would like me to talk about, leave it in the comments or vote for it on the polls. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.